You want to get right to the core of things, don't you? Really grasp a topic without wading through all the noise. That's what we do here. And today, we're diving into a real chilling mystery, one that's been baffling people for well over a century now. The Villisca axe murders back in 1912.
That's right. We're talking June 9th, June 10th, 1912. Villisca, Iowa. A place you'd think was completely safe, you know? But what unfolded there was, well, it was brutal, deeply disturbing, and honestly, we're still talking about it today for a reason.
Yeah, picture it, 1912, small town Iowa. You know your neighbors, everyone knows everyone. Then this happens in your neighbor's house. It's terrifying, really. We've pulled together quite a bit for this guy. Got news reports from 5 and UWS, the Des Moines Register, the sort of on-the-ground view. Then there's People magazine, maybe a broader perspective there, and a blog post from Danny Chase that might give us a more reflective take on it all.
Exactly. And our plan is to sort of sift through all that, pull out the key details and inconsistencies maybe, and really try to understand why this crime, out of so many, still holds such a grip.
Okay, let's do it. So the morning of June 10th, 1912, things are quiet. Too quiet around the Moore house.
A neighbor, Mary Peckham, notices this. The Moores are usually up and about, but not this morning. She gets concerned.
And that concern leads to, well, an absolutely horrific scene.
Horrific is the word. 8 people dead. Josiah Moore and his wife Sarah, their 4 children, Herman, Catherine, Boyd, and little Paul. And 2 young girls who were visiting, staying the night, Lena and Ina Stillinger. And the sources, all of them really, strush how well-liked the Moores were. Respected family, central to the community.
It's just unthinkable. 8 people murdered in their beds with an axe.
And the axe itself, found right there in the house,
Yeah.
bloody, in the guest bedroom where the Stillinger girls were.
So the killer didn't even bring their own weapon. They used one from the house.
It seems that way, yes. Josiah Moore owned a hardware business, so an axe being in the home wasn't unusual, but finding it there, like that. And what's really haunting is that it seems almost everyone was attacked while completely asleep. Total vulnerability.
The Des Moines Register mentioned that, right? That neighbors didn't hear anything. No screams, no struggle.
Precisely. Which makes the crime scene details even weirder, somehow.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about those details because they are unsettling. It wasn't just the violence, it was the strangeness. Covering mirrors and windows with cloths. Why?
That's one of the biggest questions, isn't it? Theories range from, practical reasons like hiding the act from outside view to stranger things, like
Yeah.
maybe old superstitions about mirrors and death. Nobody really knows.
It had such a bizarre layer. And then there's what? A plate of uneaten food left out?
Yeah, in the kitchen, like something was interrupted, or maybe the killer paused. It's just another odd piece that doesn't quite fit a simple motive.
And the raw bacon. I mean, raw bacon just lying on the floor.
So strange. It feels symbolic or ritualistic somehow, but again, there's no clear explanation offered in the main reports. It just hangs there as this incredibly weird detail.
And the bowl of bloody water
Yeah.
suggests the killer washed up.
It certainly points that way. A bowl of bloody water found in the kitchen, yeah. It paints this picture of someone calm enough, methodical enough to try and clean themselves before leaving.
And Danny Chase's blog mentioned something about the lighting.
Right, that the killer might have removed the chimney from an oil lamp to get just enough dim light to see, perhaps, but not enough to be easily visible from outside the windows. It suggests careful planning, navigating in the dark.
Okay, but you mentioned earlier that maybe not everyone was asleep. Lena Stillinger.
Yes, that's a possibility raised in some accounts. The idea that she might have had defensive wounds on her arm.
Implying she woke up. Maybe struggled?
It could imply that, yes. Which is horrifying in itself, but also raises questions. Why her? Did she wake first? Did the killer go to her room first or last? We just don't know.
God, it's awful to think about. Let's quickly remember who these victims were. Josiah Moore, local businessman, right? Hardware dealer.
Yeah, well-known, active in the church and community based on what the Register and People say. Sarah, his wife, was a housewife, played piano at the church according to 5 and UWS. Just ordinary, respected people.
Yeah, the kids. The ages just get you. Herman, 11. Catherine, 10. Boyd was 7. And Paul, just 5 years old.
And the visiting sisters, Lena, 12, and Ina, only 8. They were just kids having a sleepover.
And they'd all been to a church event that evening, hadn't they?
Yes, the Children's Day service at their Presbyterian church. It really highlights the contrast, this wholesome community event, then hours later, this unimaginable violence descends.
What was the town's reaction? I mean, immediate shock, obviously, but did the sources capture that?
Oh, absolutely. Complete shock, disbelief, fear. You can imagine in a town that size, Danny Chase's blog probably captures that personal terror well, while the news reports document the public grief and the absolute chaos that must have followed.
So authorities arrive. They bring in bloodhounds, right? From Nebraska.
They did, trying to track a scent, find a trail, but the investigation hit snags almost immediately.
The crime scene itself being the big one.
Huge one. Danny Chase points this out, and it's a common observation. People were horrified, curious. They walked through the house, trod all over potential evidence.
Yeah, 1912 forensics weren't exactly CSI, were they?
It was not even close. No concept of DNA, rudimentary fingerprinting at best. Crime scene preservation protocols were minimal to non-existent. As Danny Chase likely notes, this contamination was a massive blow right from the start.
So even with bloodhounds,
their effectiveness could be limited, yeah. Weather, time passing, and like we said, all those people milling about, it made an already difficult job almost impossible.
so leads were thin, but suspects did emerge over time. People mentions a few key ones. Frank F. Jones.
Right. Wealthy local businessman. Josiah Moore used to work for him, then left to start a rival business. There were rumors of bad blood, business rivalry, maybe even personal stuff involving Josiah supposedly having an affair with Jones's daughter-in-law, though that's pure speculation. Jones had an alibi, though.
Okay. Then there was William Blackie Mansfield.
Yeah, he was linked to similar axe murders in other states around that time. He even allegedly had inside knowledge of the Villisca crime. He was investigated, even arrested, but also had an alibi supposedly miles away working. His connection feels maybe a bit more tenuous in retrospect.
And the most famous one, maybe,
Right.
Reverend George Kelly.
Definitely the most intriguing in many ways. 5NUWS and others paint him as this eccentric, kind of creepy traveling minister. He was known for strange behavior, possibly some kind of mental instability. And critically, he was in Villisca on the night of the murders.
And he confessed. That seems huge.
It does. He was interrogated intensely, maybe coercively. We don't know the full details, but he did confess to the murders.
But then he took it back, didn't he? The Des Moines Register covers his trials, plural.
That's right. He recanted the confession. Went to trial twice, actually. The first ended in a hung jury, the second in acquittal. Despite the confession, the physical evidence linking him just wasn't strong enough for a conviction back then.
What about the other evidence against him? The bloody shirt.
Yeah, 5NEWS mentions that Story allegedly sent a bloody shirt to the laundry days after the murders. And the Register talks about witnesses claiming he told people on a train about the butchery of 8 people before the bodies were officially found.
But not enough to convict him.
Wow.
Wow. Leaves a lot of doubt hanging there.
Absolutely. He remains a really strong person of interest for many people studying the case, even after the acquittal. The confession, even recanted, is hard to ignore.
And there's that other theory. Danny Chase mentions the man from the train.
Right, this broader idea. Could Villisca have been the work of a transient serial killer, someone using the railway system to move between towns, commit similar crimes, and disappear?
Like maybe Mansfield wasn't the only possibility fitting that profile.
Exactly. It connects Villisca to other unsolved axe murders in the region around that time, suggesting a pattern maybe overlooked by focusing only on local suspects. It opens up the chilling possibility of a phantom killer moving through the heartland.
It's just incredible. Over 111 years later, still unsolved, properly cold.
It really is. And the house, as all the sources mention, it's still there. The Villisca Axe Murder House, it's a museum now.
You can tour it, even stay overnight.
You can. It draws a lot of people, true crime enthusiasts, paranormal investigators, the just plain curious.
And there are stories, ghost stories.
Oh, yes, lots of them. Danny Chase's blog probably touches on this. People report hearing kids laughing or crying, seeing shadows move, feeling cold spots, objects moving, that kind of thing.
Whether you buy into the paranormal or not, it shows the power the house still holds, doesn't it? The weight of what happened there.
Definitely. And the case itself, as the Register notes, keeps getting revisited, documentaries, books, even movies. It just hasn't faded from public fascination.
What do you think that is, compared to other old unsolved crimes?
I think it's the combination of factors. The brutality against a whole family, including children, the small-town setting, those incredibly bizarre, unexplained details like the covered mirrors and the bacon, and of course the fact that it remains completely unsolved. It's the perfect storm for an enduring mystery.
So to sort of wrap up where we've been, we looked at this horrific night in Villisca, the shocking discovery of 8 people murdered. We delved into those really strange, unsettling details of the scene, the covered mirrors, the axe left behind, the bacon.
Mm-hmm. And we considered the main suspects, Jones, Mansfield, the Reverend Kelly, with his confession and acquittal, and that wider theory of a possible railway serial killer.
But ultimately, after all this time, over a century, silence, no definitive answers.
No justice for the Moore family or the Stillinger sisters. It's that contrast, I think, that makes it stick with you. The ordinary family life shattered by this almost ritualistic, bizarre violence. Those details just elevate it, make it feel darker somehow, more mysterious than just a robbery gone wrong or a simple act of rage.
It really makes you pause, doesn't it?
Mm.
How does a crime like this, with suspects, with clues, however strange, with so much intense focus, how does it just go cold forever?
What does that say about finding truth? About memory? About how even determined investigations can just hit a wall?
Maybe that's the final thought for you listening. Ponder that.
Mm-hmm.
How could this happen, and how could it remain hidden for so long? It really is one of America's most chilling and enduring cold cases.